Hey
Boom.
everybody. Well, welcome back to the Reel Down. We'll give it a few minutes for everybody to get online here before we start up because we're doing it not our
Super early.
regular time. Yeah, we're doing it 6 special holiday edition. How you doing, Jimmy?
Pretty good, man. Just I put the labor in Labor Day today. I haven't let up all weekend, man. I'm tired.
And
About
we
you?
we hung out, just family time. My in-laws live on the lakes. We spent last 2 days there and then uh, yard work and stuff like that today. So a little bit of grilling. So yeah, having a beer, relaxing, enjoying Labor Day.
There you go. Yeah, we I caught up on like 2 months of neglected yard work yesterday, and then I got a pressure washer today, and that turned into way more than I had expected. I was like, well, I'll just do part of the sidewalk, and then now it's done. But
I
yep,
need to,
it's
I need
been.
to do mine. That's bad.
And I was saying, I kept telling my wife, I was like, our driveway and sidewalk's not that bad. And then I hit it with one line and was like, oh God, this is gonna take a while.
I guess I see other people do it. I don't really think it like in my head it doesn't look that much better. Like, oh, I have a white sidewalk or I have like, black side. I don't know.
I feel you. And then like I was looking at the picture I took of like the before and after, and it looks like I got the concrete redone. Like it's that big a difference because I have two huge trees in my yard that all that sap and everything was coming down on it, and I had like moss growing up on the. It was bad.
I need
This
to,
turned into like a straight dad episode really quick. Sorry, folks.
yeah. And you've been in my neighborhood. Like, there's some people with nice houses, and it's like, I am definitely not
What you
holding.
talking about? You got a nice house.
I am not upholding the bargain of my neighborhood. Like, I do not have the best yard in my neighborhood at all.
That's what I told my wife when we got done today. I was like, look, looks like someone actually lives here now.
All right, so yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Spend a couple minutes. First, we have a couple big charity tournaments coming up, so we want to talk about that. And anytime you're having a charity tournament, just message us, and we'll be sure to talk about it.
Yeah. So most of y'all that watch us, we've had him on. I think he's been on a couple of the other segments of the Paddle and Fin network. But Jackson Orr is having his charity event. It's the third annual catch and release charity tournament. Catch for them as kayak anglers together can help. It's a $20 entry fee, and everybody that comes in, the top 6 anglers get to pick where their payout goes as far as a charity. And then there's prize packages that have been put together for the winners of the event. But it's September 11th, 12th, and 13th. It'll go from that Friday at 6 a.m. to Sunday at 6 p.m. Check it out on Tourney X. Or Facebook, it'll all lead you there to get all the other details. But it's a really cool setup event. I think there's 156 people signed up for it right now. And then looking at the prize package, I mean, I'm getting in on this. We're going up to Kentucky Lake, so I'm going to gladly donate my money for a chance at this. But there's a bunch of sponsors like St. Croix, Dugout Bait and Tackle, Dakota, Scott Butcher Fishing, Z-Man, Plano, Westbrook. There's a lot, huge names all over it. So the money's going to a good cause, and you're going to go home, or I think 6 people are going to go home with some pretty awesome prize packages, and then there's some other raffle giveaways. But yeah, if you're going to be fishing this weekend, it's on basically any public body of water fishing for bass in the world. I think that's how Jackson put it on Tourney X. So if you're going to be fishing this weekend anyway, send that $20 in, and you never know, you may have a chance at taking that home with you.
Even if you're not fishing, 20,
It's $20.
Yeah, what are kayak people? What are we able to do as a community? I'll donate my $20. Put in your. I'm fishing just for fun with my family, camping this weekend. But put in your money, put in your $20. It's going to go to a good cause. Can't beat that. Write it off on taxes. Yeah. And then the other one, if you didn't know and you don't follow tournament fishing on the big boat side like you do on kayaks, but most people still know Aaron Martins. He lives here in the Birmingham area, and he's been dealing with cancer. He's, so far he's beat it, but if you're a fisherman, you probably don't have the best health insurance. So he has a wife and a couple of kids, and that can incur a lot of costs. So they're having Aaron Martin's benefit tournament, and auction. The auction's almost as cool as a tournament, but that's on from October 3rd to the 18th. All tournament fees are going to go directly to the Martins family. and the payout's going to be all the way down to 177th place. So a lot of money going out. And this is going to be using the CPR format. They're not using Tourney X. Don't love that, but they, we love Tourney X here. But they're using the Connect Fishing League app. Haven't checked that one out, but it might be good too. If you have any questions, go and check out the Noob Show. They actually just did a show today with it came out today with Jim Ware. Jim Ware he's a sponsor by Picasso. And you can also go online to amartcharitytournament.com, or you can just go online, make a donation through that website to help him and his family. And a lot of it with the auction, there's some cool stuff. Like you can get guide trips with Swindle and it's all the biggest names. And
I need that guide trip just for the laughs. Like, I bet you that would be a hilarious trip.
Chick coming up. I'm sure there's somebody who's guiding, maybe Wheeler or somebody guiding up on I don't know if Wheeler's on there, but I'm sure somebody's guiding up on Chick. If you're fishing, let's say you're fishing in national championship, you could probably sneak in Swindle on Gunnersville or something like that. As long as it's not in the cutoff window for guides, you'd be good. So that's another good tournament. But while we're here tonight, we're really here to talk about the Tri-State tournament and this is Dugout Bait and Tackle based out of Marietta, Georgia. And tonight we have Steve Owens. He's the team manager. If you don't know Steve, he's also the tournament director for BASS Nation Kayak Series and Tennessee State Director for Bass Nation. So welcome to the show, Steve.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
AKA and Mr. Chickamauga Hammer.
Yeah, pre-fishing hammer. I do phenomenally pre-fishing. So,
and we also might get the owner of Dugout, Jamie Koza, here on a little bit, but we'll see. I know he's having some issues.
Yeah, they're traveling back from Gunnersville. As a matter of fact, his daughter Lee Rose fishes for Carson Newman, and they had an event down there. His son Carter Koza, I think they placed 6th in high school down there on. I guess it was FLW or whatever it was that was on it. Actually, they were leaning on them pretty good, and they went like 50 miles. Hey Todd, they went like 50 miles upriver, and got to the where they were going to fish, and the steering went out on the boat. So they ended up finishing the last 10 miles of their fishing all day with just a trolling motor. So got some assistance and got their fish back and missed the championship cutoff by less than a pound. So congratulations, Carter. Heart broke for you, but that kid is a hammer and just a good little dude. So
that can be dangerous. I saw one video where a couple of guys, they were maxed out going in their boat, and the steering gave out and they just shot off to the right and it threw them both out. So
hey, it happened to me. One of my good friends got like I'm illiterate when it comes to bass boat terminology and numbers, but it was a really high dollar Ranger 221 or 9 or something, and it's got everything's Bluetooth in that boat, like electronic, everything. And when we went to steer, something malfunctioned, and it started doing some shake. So he got it repaired. And here in Saudi Creek, when you leave, there's a 90-degree almost turn that they have to slow down for, and they were going about 55, 45, something like that. And it was another angler with him that I work with, and that went out right there at that pin. And it just so happens he had just thought to kick it in neutral, and they veered or whatever. So,
I know I've told
you go back to the twist turn Evinrude. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I've told my story before. I hit something going 60 in a Ranger on Pickwick in a college tournament and threw out my partner, spun out 900 degrees and sheared off the bottom of my motor, threw him out, and
wow.
That's one of the reasons I kayak nowadays.
Are y'all still friends?
Yeah, man.
Okay, good.
Like because we fished college together, but I think we had 22 pounds that day, and he jumped in a boat with LSU. They seen it happen, and we had been staying at the same hotel, and he jumped in a boat with them, threw the fish, and they're live well, and went to weigh-in with 22 pounds, and I think we ended up in like top 10 in national championship for Cabela's, and wrecked the boat, $15,000 in damage.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
So yeah, he and Ansley, that's the brains and everything behind the operation. His wife Ansley, they're making their way back from Gunnersville. But I wanted to double back. Thank you guys for mentioning the Picasso Aaron Martin's charity event. Jim Ware and I are also on that team together, and he's a Dugout pro staff member.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just, if you don't mind, let me give a list of those anglers you mentioned, because there's 5 different big time guided trips, and then there's Denny Brower, Cody Huff, Brent Champion, Jesse Tarkanate, Dave Mullins, Mark Daniels Jr., Brandon Card, Gary Klaus, Todd Faircloth, Chris Lane, Randy Howell, Ott Defoe, Brian Thrift, Gerald Swindle, Hank Cherry, Jordan Lee, Jacob Wheeler, Mark Zona, and Kevin Van Dam. So I think all of those, all of those start out like $1,000 bid. I mean, I would love to go to the bank and take out about $5,000 and throw it at 5 of them.
I'd like to go get on with Mr. Hank Cherry. You need to take me to Gunnersville and show me how you did that.
He's in North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and he won the Gunnersville. So, but we know the recipe for that one. We saw that. So, matter of fact, I was throwing that this weekend. Me and Buddy went and pre-fished, like I told y'all, Weiss and Neely Henry getting ready for the Hobie BOS down there in about 3 or 4 weeks. And I threw that for a little while, and I love a jerk bait. And even in the summertime, I'll throw it at the rocks and slow roll it and just let it do its little shimmy. And bait fish galore, and the water's real stained. And I had about a 20-incher just swim right to my kayak twice, just nosing it. So that jerk bait works all year round. That color does. So,
I've used their shock blade, which is a chatterbait. That's great. And Kurt Smits, he came on here not too long ago, and he was talking about the Picasso, the small jig head for
the tungsten.
With the weed guards. I had looked at that. That's something I've been wanting to get. It's been a little bit harder to find, but maybe I need to check out Dugout. They probably
hey, give him a call. Make Craig earn his paycheck. He'll bag it up and send it right your way. Or we don't. Jimmy knows we don't care to do the pickup and handoff. Whatever it takes to get it there, we'll get it to you. So
there you go. So first, tell us about Dugout. If people don't know about the store, it's become one of the biggest. I mean, definitely one of the biggest Hobie dealers in the U.S. And the team that you put together might be the best. I mean, it's not might be. It is the best store team in the country.
Yeah, it's growing. It's going to grow too. It's going to grow. We got some things in the work, but backing up, like you said, Dugout Bait and Tackle was opened in, I believe, 57. It should be on our jerseys here. These are our TBKA Cast State Championship jerseys that just came in from Real Tree and Gemini Jerseys. They hooked us up. But anyway, the business has been around. Jamie owns a Kennesaw Bait Company. They supply live bait, minnows, crickets, mealworms, worms, and all that to a lot of places. And Jamie's always been a high-end, at least for the last 25 years, a high-end bait and tackle store with St. Croix, Shimano, G. Loomis, and now Daiwa. Daiwa's coming in December, I believe. But he's always, been one of the Southeast leaders in sales there. And, he's well connected in the Georgia area. And as I said, his children are very active. So that puts him out there in the boat world all the time. But, they've always had a wonderful tackle shop. And just well-respected people. They do things, the old-fashioned way, a handshake and trust. And from there, I guess it was October-ish, he reached out, but I would say beforehand, because there's a lengthy process and vetting period for that. But AJ McWhirter and Hobie, entrusted him to sell Hobies down there in the North Atlanta, Marietta region. And hey, don't do that. That was inappropriate. Sorry, man. I forget.
I knew you were going to get
around the living room here. Sorry. Man, I didn't mean to get sidebarred there, but that excited me. So anyway, so they got the Hobie dealership set up, and like with every shop, there's a learning curve, and AJ, mentioned to him, you need to get some kayak people around to help you with the learning curve. And AJ's done a phenomenal job helping him, educate on the fly, because as soon as you start, you've got so much money invested in these things that you got to start. There is no, we'll get it figured out by spring. It's sell immediately, and they have. And we drove down, my wife and I, and met him and spent half a day with him around the shop, and just was just admired the person that he was. He started out small and just worked 7 days a week for, I want to say it was something like 6 years, before he finally got to where he was leveled out, to where he could enjoy, the fruits of his labors. And, like I said, he's got a wonderful wife and family. And so from there, I've agreed to work with him. And from there, it's just grown from, kayaks to now we've got, two, well, actually three, if you include Yakima. But as far as people we know, the best trailers you can find around, and obviously the tackle and rods and reels and accessories all come with it. Now we've got Innovative Sportsman's Torpedo brackets coming. We sell Torpedo. We got the Bomb Anchor Company in. Anchor Wizard. If Rogue Fishing Products, catch boards, kayak cushion. Yeah, it's a Brandon Elrod. He's a local PKA guy. Yeah, Brandon's a wonderful dude, and just he's got those cushions slinging everywhere. They're that big a difference. They
I sit on one myself. I'll vouch for him.
You guys were in Natives. I know Daniel was, and from that Slayer propel system, your seat was angled, and then the Titans it became more upright, and it changed that ergonomics. And man, it hurt me. It did. For about 3 months, I was miserable, and I was like, dude, I'm done. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll figure something out. So my buddy Reed, we had looked at modifying, and Brandon hollered and dropped one of those cushions off, and I threw it in the kayak because I had bought memory foam ones, that $80 squish cushion, and, it just wasn't working. And, it's not like I'm going to lose 150 pounds overnight, but even skinny people have back problems. But I sat down on that cushion and took it out one morning, and in instant relief. I said, wow. And so I put it in another kayak, and it stayed the same. And those things, I can't make it make sense why that piece of foam does what it does versus other foams.
Yeah. Something that I'll add to that, man. I was on the phone with a guy like right before we got on. He got one for the boat, and now he literally carries it with him everywhere. He sits in his office chair with it. He was dove hunting with me on the phone. He said he's got it in his bag chair. Like, swears, but he's like, I'm gonna get another one for a backrest now.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're so comfortable.
And they have two different ones. They have the regular one, and now they have the extra firm, which for me, I'm like, I'm a heavier guy, so I'm not hitting my seat with that cushion because it's the extra firm one. So
right.
I mean, that's non-paid endorsement. That's a great product.
Yeah. Same here. I think I'm going on about a year with my first one, and it's about time to replace it. I'm sure everything's got a shelf life. When people buy something, and as soon as it wears out, they're like, "Well, this ain't worth the crap." Well, I mean, it's like shoes. You got to replace them from time to time. But that's something that I don't care. If he gets bought out tomorrow, I'll continue to buy it. So Wizardry, that's it, Jim. That's exactly it. So yeah.
I have a question because y'all have a pond. I know a couple of stores like Everything Kayak down in Mississippi. They have a pool. Y'all have a pond behind there. Do y'all use it for kayaks for testing them out?
Yes, sir. I mean, I think AJ kind of steered him towards that. But, our parking lot, and this is where it just, I realize how I'm nowhere near as intelligent as some people. But, you come to the shop down there, and, of course, there's a parking lot, and then there's a steep embankment, and then that's it. Well, I'm thinking, there's no room for kayaks. Well, they build a deck off from the property over that little bluff, and now that's where the kayaks and things are stored. And you go right down beside it, and there's a wooden walkout dock, probably 8 feet long, 4 feet wide, and you just step on it and step down into the kayak, and there's some monsters. There's some big fish in there, and as a testament to the businessman that Jamie Koza is, he sells live bait. He's a wholesaler for live bait, but he's got live bait. You can come in off the street and buy it. I believe it's $4 a pound. Whatever you catch out of there, you can keep. So people publicly will come in, buy a box of crickets or worms, and walk straight down to that pond. And they'll throw rooster tails. I believe there's trout in it, lake trout. And then, of course, some panfish, and then there's some big bass in there too. The biggest I saw that come out of it was 6 pounds something, and I've heard that there's bigger in there. It's a pretty decent sized place, and it's got an aerator system in it, and of course, it's a bait company there, so they throw food in it all the time. So yeah.
I just want to say, like, everything kayak in Mississippi, and then you've got up here, let's say here and here, you've got Marietta, Dugout, you've got everything kayak in Mississippi.
Right.
I'm in the middle here in Birmingham. A Hobie dealer. Just saying, second
Yeah.
shop.
I mean, you could swing it a little north my way. I wouldn't be mad.
Like Scott McCurry, a friend of mine here, I sent him over there, and y'all hooked him up. Yeah, I mean, you did everything from put the electronics on there, Dakota lithium batteries. I mean, yeah, y'all do total outfitting, so it's not just you buy your stuff, got to take it home, drill the whole thing out. But yeah, I mean, yeah, y'all are a total outfitter. Very cool.
Yeah.
And treat him right. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
no problem. We appreciate you guys trusting us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to making it out there. I was hoping to come out there this weekend because we were supposed to be going to Chick, but now we're going to Kentucky Lake, so it'd be one heck of a swing out of the direction to get there.
Yeah, what do y'all got going on Kentucky Lake?
Just some of the paddle and fin hosts are we got a cabin. We're just gonna meet up, hang out, and fish for a few days. Which I read the fishing reports today. Yep, I read some of the fishing reports up there for the last couple of weeks, and now I'm not as excited, but maybe we'll find something.
Yeah, like we talked about over the weekend, we went down to Weiss and Neely Henry. It's September,
Tough.
I think the only good fishing is in the ocean in September. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and go over this event. So it's I'll go over some of the particulars, and then you can talk about them more. But it's the Dugout Tri-State Series. It's a 3 monthly events, October, November, and December. It's all public waters in Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. Events and a lot. And I know you might be saying, I don't live in Alabama, Georgia, or Tennessee. What do I want to be a part of that? But and whenever you read this list, there's a ton of big events going on during that time. You've got the KBF National Championship, the second weekend of October. And people practicing on that for a long time. Hobie BOS on the Coosa River, Georgia Bass Nation, their tournament on Sinclair. There it is. I looked at that. I've been thinking about fishing that one. I love spots. The Cass Tennessee State Championship, Tennessee Bass Nation Dale Hollow, Hobie Tournament of Champions and Shootout, and the Bass Nation Kayak Series on Chickamauga. So you have all those coming up. And some of the things that you can win, you're going to have weekly winners at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The winners are going to be either $150 or $25 gift cards provided by Branson Tractors. You have weekly random drawers for prizes for Shimano, G. Loomis, St. Croix, Spro, Picasso, Z-Man, Dakota Lithium, Megabass, and DeBomb Maker. So all the goods, like the really good stuff. And out of all those 3 months, you're going to have 30 anglers that are going to advance to a no entry fee championship on a randomly drawn lake on January 23rd. And Carl Black Chevrolet is going to add some money into the pot. And the winner is going to get a Hobie PA12 with a 180 Mirage drive and kick-up fins. And those 30 people are going to come from the weekly leader on Sunday at 9 p.m., like I said. Top 5 overall finishers from each month, and then each month's big bass winner from each month. So that's going to make 30 people, and then you're going to have a championship in January from that.
Yeah, we the last thing, that'll be one weekly for 14 weeks on Sunday at 9 p.m. The top 5 from each of the month. So at the end of the month, so that's, that adds 29. And the big bass is for the entire 3-month series. So there'll just be one awarded to big bass. But, it's kind of, we sat down, with several other directors and came up with, what we wanted to do. And at the premise of it, Jamie was like, what can we do to, because I'll just be honest with you, I had no idea that kayakers would support that shop the way they've done. I mean, granted, you put things in anywhere, people will come and buy it. But and Jamie's prices are tackle warehouse related kind of prices. There's not a $1.50 markup like a lot of shops have to do. And that's just, he is such a large volume dealer that he can afford to do that. And, I'll challenge anybody to go in there, and spend any amount of time and talk to those guys and get to know them. You always leave with more than what you expected. And I don't mean by spending $40, you just, it might just be mentally or whatever, but I'm just telling you, you go in there, you're going to connect and just, the rewards he gives out, you're not putting in as much work as you would think to get back. He's such a giving heart and everything, but he was like, what do we do? He said, I believe in giving when people give to us. And, and I'm built that way, and the rest of our team's built that way too. And that's what we wanted to do. Is Dugout's identity is Jamie Koza and his family and Craig Miller, the shop manager. All the employees rival the same kind of personality. And in building our staff, we were very careful to make certain that the same kind of people are there too. That way we all mesh, we all work together. You have conversations within things that you don't even have to speak about. You just know, like Ryan and I, the way we've done things for 5 years here. We don't have to communicate about things. We just know what needs to be done and we make them happen, with Daniel and Garrett and everything. So, Jamie was like, what can we do? You guys see what we do on social media, but you don't get to see the people coming through, and it's amazing, and it's just humbling, and it's just a huge blessing. And they're very thankful for that, because they know if people don't come through the door, then they don't sustain. And so he said, what can we do to give back? And he's throwing this and this here, this relationship, he can, foster this from it. And just, he said, I've got whatever we need to put into it, we'll get. And so we sat down and we looked at several different options. But when we ended up with it all, it was, we wanted to make it nationwide, but then that's hard to do because, you can pigeonhole certain states that have monster bass where Maine don't, so we didn't want to have to, there's not a lot, because we all got a lot going on. So we wanted to make it as simple as we could to maintain and not make it pretty time friendly. And then from there, it was like, well, who's coming through the store? Obviously, it's the tri-state area. You guys have helped us. Georgia's there, Tennessee people. We get other states, because people hear about us, and the kayak mantra, they want to support their own. So people from, North Carolina, Mississippi, when they come through, they try to seek out the Dugout and help us out. And we appreciate that. So, but we didn't want to make it too big to where we couldn't, service that. We would love for you, because, if you win, a G Loomis rod, we would love for you to come through the store and pick it up. We'll work out shipping if that's something that needs to happen, but that gets into a lot of money. And, we obviously don't have much of a budget because this is largely free for everything. So we come up with that, and we were like, Branson, they really brought this up as soon as Jamie mentioned it around there. And they were like, guys, we want to do this. There's shops all over the Southeast. And, so they gave us what they were willing to do. So we split it up, and, online tournaments, we understand, aren't for everyone, but there's a large population of kayaking that can't fish live tournaments like we all get to do. We've all just sat here and talked about how, Jimmy, you hadn't been able to do much at all this year, but you might be able to get out on a Wednesday and Thursday evening because your wife and kid are busy, and you get 4 hours in. So, and you're going to compete, against your buddies. So we want to address that side of, being an angler, because it's not all about fishing a bass or a Hobie or a KBF or something, and, we've got members of our club, TBKA, that we've not met yet, but they message us all the time, their schedules don't allow them to fish like they would like. So making it a month-long tournament is easy. Okay. And, in order to keep interest going all the time, we were like, well, we need to make the awards not just the end of the event. So we were like, let's award it weekly. Well, then how do you do that? Well, let's just do it to the winners, the leaders each week, because number one, it keeps people from sandbagging.
Yeah.
So, and what it'll do now, let's say, we've got X amount of people in it. Now, not thinking about the people who will be traveling through, but just the local anglers that this is targeted towards. they're going to look on there in the morning, on first break at work and be like, man, Jimmy went out and did this yesterday. Now I'm going to do something now where I can go out and fish today and try to get back on top of him, and just do the back and forth, which is fun during live tournaments to watch on Tourney X leaderboard and everything. So, we thought, well, you know what, that'll drive people to get out and fish more, hopefully. And we just thought it was just a cool way to do something outside the box, and don't know that anybody else has done it. So
no, definitely something different.
Yeah, and this is not something that's set up for somebody to stand on stage and hold up a trophy, like at a championship. This is meant for you to get out and have fun and fish, and you're going to be rewarded for your $25 entry fee. At the end of the month, the winners of the top, the top three will be paid cash out of the entry fee. We're not keeping anything other than Tourney X and PayPal fees. And if we garner, if I can raise some more capital, then we'll hopefully get those paid. But right now, that's what that does. Carl Black has put in, $1,000 for the championship. So they've got a dealership in Kennesaw, Georgia, as well as Nashville, Tennessee. They got one in North Florida, so anytime anyone would need anything, they can obviously transfer something. But they're a huge part of that community in Kennesaw, and Jamie's been friends with them for a long time. When my truck got burned, they reached out to me via Jamie, and I called them, and I just wanted to buy another truck off of my insurance settlement. I wasn't looking for anything, and then he said, well, let me price you a new one. And then as the snow globe settled, dude, I could not say no. It was just that good. They really, really helped me out. And then the next thing, my son's work van tore up, and they hooked him up with a work truck, as well. I mean, they're good people down there. T. Scott and Rajay Forrest, they're amazing people. So, that tournament, was designed to give back to everyone, and that's what it'll do, And now, well, you named off all that list. We actually got in trouble by a few because we didn't include everyone on that graphic. I mean, there's going to be Owner, Seagar, Gamakatsu come through, Dakota Lithium stepping in really big, which they're on there. So there's a lot more in there. So, but, like you mentioned, the grand thing each week is the $100 Visa gift card to be used anywhere you want. And then there's a $50 for second and a $25 for third. And what we'll do, like you said, the championship is going to be just 30 anglers, and we've been taking notes. I think Jesse Halverson mentioned Duck River Reservoir down y'all's way, and someone mentioned Brushy Shore or something like that in Mississippi. It's supposed to be a really good bass lake, and then there was one more Jim Ware mentioned down there around Georgia somewhere. So that's the three we've got now. We've got 4 or 5 more. Huh?
Take whatever Jesse told you and throw it away. Jesse said Duck River because he's one of like 3 people that can catch the good fish in it. Just throw that out.
It was shut down for a year. I really wanted to go there whenever they opened it back up. They had a problem with the dam. They built it, and then a few years later it messed up, so they shut it down.
So Jesse actually holds, if it still hasn't changed, Jesse holds the big fish record in Duck River, whether it boat, kayak, or like when they made that impoundment, he holds the biggest fish out of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why he said Duck River.
So there's a lot of 3-pounders in there. Is that what you're saying?
Probably. Well, there's a lot of 3-pounders. I caught a bunch of them.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the championship, we looked at, let's make this, because as you said, we've got the nation's best anglers coming to Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia for the better part of the next 3 months. December will slack down. We understand that. But, while you're here out of state pre-fishing your entire week, the fish that you catch can be valuable to you, not only in knowledge of pre-fishing, but you take your pictures, hold on to them till Sunday and throw them up there, get credit, 9 p.m. is just because I've got to shut it off at some time. And, I got a life, so I got to just hit the export button at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and that'll be it. And the prizes, what I'll do is I'll use the random number generator based off your finish for that week, and just randomize it and log everything. And, I'll, do a live video of that if I can. And, that'll be how the prizes are awarded. And, we'll link up and figure out how to get it sent, or everybody pick their stuff up. So
have them come out to Dugout and pick it up.
That's the plan. I mean, like if you win a Dakota Lithium, that's an expensive shipping freight there. So, we need you to come by and get it. So, or roll it down to the next person or something like that. I don't know yet. It's hard to figure everything out. I mean, as I said, this is a fellowship tournament. It's now the championship we take very seriously because that's a big haul right there for free. You get a dang top shelf kayak, and of course we've got money, and then there'll be prizes in there as well. And when it comes to that championship, he's going to reach out. So there's no telling what people are going to walk away with. So.
Oh yeah. So I may have missed it. So is it a weekly big bass, or is it like best 5 during the week, best 3 during the week?
Best 5 during the week.
Okay.
The only big bass is just going to be earmarked for because we did weekly and top 5 from each month. We ended up with 29, and nobody wants a 29 angler tournament, so we said, hey, just throw in big bass. So yeah, big bass for the whole 14 weeks. And so incidentally, to get a full weekend for anglers traveling to the Hobie, it would be actually, what's first, the Hobie Koza or the National Championship?
Koza.
The Hobie Koza.
Next week is Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that and the Tennessee State Championship. So, cast. So, in order to get that full weekend, if you came down to pre-fish, we're going to start Monday, September the 26th or whatever it is. So that if you come into town on Monday in Alabama or pre-fishing, your fish will count for that entire week instead of just starting it on Saturday and only having, So you'd either have 1 week with 9 days in it, or let's just back up and have an entire week on its own. So we had enough prizes to make it 14 weeks. So, hey, that's what we did. So
no, it's going to be cool for sure.
The December will carry around and get into, I think, January the 3rd, which is a Sunday. It's the day after. It's New Year's Day, I think, or Saturday's New Year's Day, and then Sunday is so we ended on the Sunday there. So, and then I think what we'll do is announce that lake then at the end of it all, so that people aren't going and pre-fishing it if you qualify your first week. So let's just say if Dan qualifies in week 1, week 2. He qualifies again, then it'll naturally just go to the next day.
Just roll down.
Yeah. So
championship in January though, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it just we wanted to do just because here I don't know about Gunners. I don't fish it in the winter, but I fish up here in the winter a lot. As a matter of fact, TVKA has 2 winter events every year, and they're actually the last 2 years, other than our partner tournaments. That's when we've had our most anglers show up, mid-20s to 30.
Was it one of the TVKA tournaments that me and you talked about where literally everybody blinked?
No, that was 3 years ago in January. We had planned it for December, and storms or something came through on Rocky Mountain down there in Georgia and Rome. Yeah. Big fish factory, it's a managed lake. Boats, I think, are either all trolling motor or can't get over idle or something. But there's giants, monsters in there. And we had a tournament on there.
Never heard of that.
You see Jim Ware and Clay Anderson, the big old hogs. They Fluke Master, he films in there. So, but anyway, we went down there and we said, hey, let's go down there and fish. And it's tough sometimes. Well, the game warden and I stayed in contact the week leading up to it. He's like, dude, they're starting to spiral. Shad, they'll spiral as they're getting ready to die for cold weather. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And he said, dude, they're everywhere, dead. They're just dead. So we got there, and there would be like 6 to 8 foot deep shad pods for 50 yards. Dead everywhere. So we got there, 32 people. Right out the gate, I felt good. I hooked into one doing that shallow crank jerkbait crawl that I do. Second jerk, hooked into a tank. It came off. Threw back in the brush I was fishing with a Ned, and had 2 come off, all with like 15, 20 minutes. I think literally I was the only person who got a bite that day out of 32 people.
Wow. You just got to raffle off the prize money at that point.
We did. We were sitting there and everybody was looking around, Jim Ware and them were there, and we were like, what do we do? So I called, I don't know if y'all know who Nick Brown is. He's a good friend of ours. He's been the KBF National Championship director for a lot of years. Nick taught me a lot about directing and how to just manage, what's going on in a situation. And I called him. I said, dude, what do we do here? And he's like, I don't know, man. I've never heard of that. And I was like, well, what do we just raffle it all? And he said, hey, might as well take a vote. So I took a vote. I think all but one person said raffle it. So we just raffled it. Shane Williams walked away with it all, So, yeah.
There you go.
That's pretty humbling, I mean, people complain about scheduling all the time, but I mean, how do you know what's going to happen,
Oh, yeah.
That's a chance we take in the wintertime.
Yeah.
But now here's the thing, when we do our winter time events, we understand, you may not, have a 5 fish limit, but you may be coming in with an 8.5 to a 12 pounder. I mean, they're there, and that's when you catch them, especially on Chickamauga. That's why a lot of people are excited about this November Bassmaster, open event, because there could be a lot. I mean, you could literally find a spot that'll just reload and you'll catch 5 pounders all day long, and I'm not saying that they're easy to catch fish here, but in the wintertime, that's why we do lake wide, because if you work hard to find fish in the wintertime, but when you do find them, typically there's a lot of them,
and they stay there. And it seems like in the winter they're predictable. They're on bottom. They stay in a spot. Yeah, it's feast or famine, but whenever
you got to know your electronics in the wintertime. Yeah, you can fish history and things like that, but you got to know your electronics.
Are you fishing the Bass Open, or are you going to stay out since you're directing it?
No, no. There's no way you could fish one of those and run it. There's just absolutely no way.
Dude, I didn't fish our state level event. I didn't know if maybe you had somebody kind of like your right hand for it.
Oh, no, he's fishing it actually, Daniel Davis. So he helped. Thank God for him and Bethany Rango, because Bassmaster was new to us. Dwayne, Wally, and I, we'd never done anything on that scale. I mean, I've directed 100 angler events for KBF and everything, but but there's a support with Amanda Brannon and Lynette, but you still are hands on the entire tournament there, and it's hard to fish and do that. But with basketball, it was like, there's absolutely no way. There's no way you could take that kind of chance. Well, when you're dealing with 230 something anglers like that, or 223, whatever it ended up being, if we didn't have Daniel and Bethany, it would have been rough. I mean, we would have made it, because we always do. But they made it they took a lot of pain away with it. So I've got her this go around, and my wife's going to be there to help us with registration and things like that. But as far as running the event, I can handle that, now that we've got it all streamlined. And
well, if you're not fishing it, man, you need to let me borrow some waypoints.
Yeah, well, as official director, I can't do things like that. So,
man, I know people.
And I just put that out publicly, so you can't hit me up again. No.
So while you're here, is there any kind of announcements you can give us, or anything maybe for next year, for 2021 for bass, that you can tell us?
Yeah, the key word is wait. That's what I've learned. I'm just joking, but no, we actually had a call last week, and it is, AJ and I just spoke a little while ago with what's going on with him, scheduling for, Hobie and everything. And, we've all got a game plan, but, John Stewart, with Bass, we talked the other day, and he said, I've got so much in front of me right now that I can't see through. He said, he's not getting traction, scheduling everything else. It's just, there's just so much of a log jam right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's just trying to survive to wrap everything up, period. But, point blank, I asked, we're having a series, and he said, absolutely. He said, go ahead, and, you guys sit down, myself, Dwayne, Patrick Malone, Tyler Cole, and everybody, and, game plan for next season, figure out, my advice was to just don't talk to 7 or 8 different cities right now, since it is so confusing. Just pick the destination spot and call, and go ahead and see if you can get something set up, a gentleman's agreement. And then, we'll get back to Bass with it and let them know. And then obviously, they make the phone call to sign checks and contracts. And a lot of times, it is frustrating, and I understand anglers, we want things right now, because we want to go ahead and get scheduled as much as we can, and people need that. I agree. But, literally last year, I saw 2 contracts that I actually spoke with the cities about, and they were all on board. And you develop a personal relationship with some of these city officials, and hey, they were great people. I hadn't met one yet that I've not enjoyed speaking with, but that contract sat on their desk for 2 months. Nobody made it to it, and who knows why. I mean, they may be having to juggle funds or whatever, but that's what, when you hear me say, well, there's negotiation going on. Well, that negotiation's code word for it's just held up for some reason, but it's coming, it'll be there. But everybody's continuing to build, but it'll be the same. There'll be the classic in the Dallas Fort Worth area. I was told, let people know that it's going to be the week leading up to the championship, the Bassmaster Classic, which starts on Friday, correct?
Yep.
So ours will be the week leading up to it. Hopefully it's a 2-day event. They don't seem to have a problem with it, but it's not set in stone yet. So we want to get that set up first. The lake, they're reaching out and doing their thing with the lake. So, that'll be announced as soon as they can. And, my gut just tells me it's going to be late November like last year. I just kind of feel that way. They already have so much they do anyway, and we're brand new coming into it. We've got to just stay our course and be patient, and every chance we get to progress, we'll take that. So trust us that that's what we're doing. And then from there, each state is, still continuing to set up the Bass Nation. You saw my wife, she's a goofball, but somebody, you saw, your guys' Alabama State Championship was in the Bassmaster online. So good article there.
Appreciate
it. Good job. Yeah. So we spoke and got, talked about some things, and everything John's always done is, hey, look, just explain it to me as bluntly as you can, and just make me understand a kayaker's mentality with certain things. And we spoke about, our sport's 99% social media driven. We don't have websites that we go to like a lot of boaters do to check their standings and everything. We look at the graphics and we screenshot it and we share it and we hype it up that, we just won $100 for 30th place, because Bass pays 30 spots. Yeah. 20% of the field qualifies, and and he understood. He said, well, our standings are on Tourney X. You can look at it. And I said, well, we make those graphics like you look at Hobie's and KBF's and all of our local trails. We all do screenshots, Photoshop, and throw out that graphic. And it clicked. He was like, oh, I get what you're saying. I understand. That's a growing pain, and we made progress there. So that's why, I always preach, patience with it all, because, yes, they are this big entity, but it's still brand new to them. They don't have a labor force of, 10,000 people in that office. Everybody has double and triple duty.
It's small.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that have double and triple duty, so, like all of us, I've got 7 things I'm running and a personal life and a job, a regular job. And I know y'all do too. So, that's why
I can't imagine how you handle what you handle, because I'm not handling but probably about half of that, and I'm at my limit. And then every time I turn around, Steve's adding something on top of what he's already doing.
Yeah, it's
power to you.
Yeah, thank you. And it's like like Lambert mentioned, recently. He said, hey, we gotta figure out a way to take a little off your plate every time something gets added. So that's why we've restructured with TVKA. Because I feel like we've got a very good club. Our anglers, and that's a lot of things people don't realize. I mean, I know our local anglers do, but you may see me or Ryan or whomever else out front, but we're just the ones that sit around and talk. We do a lot of work, but you know as well as I do, you've got anglers within your club that are smarter than you. They've done more than you, but they're just not that person that wants to stand up front. But they're right there with you the entire time, helping you figure out what's the next move and giving you that confidence to try to call, Realtree, reached out to them through, our buddy McElroy and, spoke with them and said, hey, we would love to use this pattern, for our state championship jerseys. But another company locally was going to make them. And he said, well, hold on a minute. So he emailed me back the next day for a conference call, and G2 Gemini, he said, hey, we'll make those jerseys for y'all. And so, 5 years ago, I wouldn't call a company like Realtree and have the confidence to, like I've helped you guys some, you always have the numbers of what you guys have done and what you can return to them, and they love that, because you're not just sitting there with your hand out. You've already answered their questions for them. And so our anglers, we've got a lot of really good ones. And now, AJ is going to be one on our board of directors this year because, he's moving here. So let's be glad to have him. So we've got some plans in the works to grow TVKA, even more than we are now. So
that's awesome, dude. Y'all gonna get those tactical bassin nuts over there in y'all's club too.
Oh yeah. I wish they're here. AJ actually delivered a kayak for a friend of his who's moving to California, and said, "Would you drop it off at my buddy Matt's house?" And so he went over to where the address he was given and pulled up, and out come Matt Allen. So, he stood out there and talked to me. He said, "Man, we talked for almost an hour and a half or so." And like most people understand, he's just a regular dude. Tim Little, he's already, they both got their homes established. They're here, they're now. They're cranking out videos. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Anything else we missed with this with the Dugout Tri-State Series?
I don't think so. I'll kind of scan over just for a second because I'd hate to miss anything. I mean, we're going to do some more shows, but by the way, I get to talk to a lot of people across the country. Our top anglers and everything. All the dudes love your show. They like it. You guys are bass nerds. You like talking about everything. Your technique specifics about whatever. We don't just sit here and cut up and carry on. You guys have content, and I'm dead serious. From like the number one guy down to the 80th at these events, everybody in between has seen one or all of your stuff, and they really speak highly of it. They really like it. So y'all keep it up. Probably get rid of I dig the White Sox. I got to see Frank Thomas play in minor leagues here in Chattanooga. And I had all the old school starter jerseys and all that, but the Auburn koozies costing you visitors, I guarantee you.
I went to Montevallo. We're a small school. She went to Auburn, so whenever we got married, I had to be an Auburn fan.
Hey, yeah, no, I can't hate on the Auburn mom. They gave my wife a degree, and I don't have that, so.
Hey, I get it. As long as it's golf, I'm all right. Go ahead.
Sox are having a heck of a year, though. Well, short year. I know you're a Yankees fan. Hopefully, they'll meet up here at the end.
Oh, I'd love it, dude. I have been. My entire life, I've been a Yankees fan since about 10-ish. My uncle gave me an autographed hat from Goose Gossage, and what he said, cool. and that just hooked me, from there. And then my dad, and my grandfather were Yankees fans. Because the only thing on the radio growing up was the Braves, the Cardinals, and the Yankees, because they listened to radio because they were old. But they were Yankees fans, so I just kind of inherited that. My family's from Alabama. But I've always, since I grew up, I've been a really close White Sox follower. I really have. So
the Yankees just been bit by the injury bug this year, but
it's been like that for the last 3 years. It's terrible, but we've got the rules attached. I don't have a link for them, but they're listed in the Tourney X description. So go through, read them over. They're basically the same as everything else we fish. All catch boards will be allowed. Of course, hog troughs. Motors are allowed in this event. Motors are allowed. Artificial lures only, no live bait kind of thing. 5 fish, 1/4-inch deduction, things like that. It's all in here. There's nothing in here that varies from your traditional Hobie bass, local trails, except for you Alabama guys. No fish restraint in the mouth. You can have your hands on the fish though. So,
and I'm working towards it, man. I hope we can get with the times sooner or later.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Romines, he's always, he's a Tennessee guy. He's from Knoxville. He's a very good fisherman. And I make it a point, and he does me now. Every time somebody mentions something about fishing requirements, he always mentions the no hands on the fish because he's a proponent of it. And I'm just not, because I need those 13-inch spots. I need them. And I know
they'll be gone.
Yeah, I said, Eric, we're never going to do that in this state. I hope not. So, everything's going good with that. We appreciate letting you guys publicize this here, and I know you guys have sent people to the shop. We really appreciate that. Hope you guys get down sometime soon to visit us.
I was hoping Jamie was going to make it on because something just to talk about the kind of people they have and the kind of person he is. Frank Reed came down. I just held a throwdown event. I think there was like 15 or so of us went out on Gunnersville, trying to get over the COVID madness and have a little tournament. And he swung by to get something done to his boat, told Jamie where he was going, and Jamie sent a couple of rods and a couple of nice rods, a couple nice blues rods and hats, and was like, hey, take it down there for giveaways. I mean, you don't hear about too many other shops being able to just do that on the fly.
Just on a spur of the moment there. Yeah, he just
boom,
said,
here, take it with you.
And yeah, y'all are supporting a lot of clubs, NACA. I mean, it's not. It's great whenever, and I'm not blowing smoke. It's great whenever an outfitter like that puts their money where their mouth is. They're really supporting we want to support people who are supporting the sport and the thing that we love and the clubs that we love. So it definitely, if you're in the Southeast or you're looking for a Hobie, give them a shout, and they have quality gear and quality people like you said. So
even if you're not even relatively close, everybody I've talked to some people that have made a drive to get there and that said it was well worth it.
And that's the thing about the area they're in. You know, I love the shop. I do. My wife and I went down here recently to drop off a Tennessee trailer and pick up a On the Water Innovations trailer to take to Gunnersville. And we spent the day in North Atlanta, you know, Alpharetta shopping and eating, you know, and that's the thing about their Marietta, Kennesaw, Marietta area as well. It's a big metropolis. I mean, there's everything you want to eat there, everything you want to shop for. You can go buy a car or truck from Carl Black Chevrolet. So you literally can go down there. Yeah, you get your Branson tractor. You literally can go down there, get your little fishing fix, then take the wife and kids and do whatever y'all want down there for that day. Stay the night and go back home. I mean, it's a good little quick getaway, and you get to appease, you know, whatever you need there. But what you said, you know, supporting, you know, giving back to us for supporting trails and things like that. That's the whole reason we wanted this series, because it was like, you know, well, you know, it's only $25, and you know, why are you giving away things weekly in a monthly tournament? It's because it's not about the tournament. It's about giving you something through the tournament for competing against one another, which is what draws us all together. And you know, we don't care. We just want you to get what you win that week, and you know, that'll generate. Yeah, it's exactly it. You know, and hopefully, hey, if we do well with them, you know, maybe we'll have something else next year. You know, and do it in a better time of year and things like that. You know, once the schedule is unfolding and everything. But again, you know, you guys have you got the Alabama one out of the way. You know, Freddie Garza and the guys in Georgia have that Sinclair. And there's a guy that fishes that area and hammers us in our online tournaments here. So there's some monsters in that lake. And then, you know, not long after that, you know, we got our Cath State Championship here in Tennessee. That's our qualifier this year for the Bassmaster Classic event. And then, you know, I'm excited. December, just got some information today on the Chamber of Commerce and where to book it and everything at Del Hollow Marina. So, and that was through Jamie. He knows people up there. So, I mean, anytime you guys can think of an angler or a business entity or anything like that you'd like to have on the show, reach out to me and I'll get with Jamie. And if he's got an in with them, he wouldn't care at all to have them on, you know, to help you guys out with some things. So, again, you know, like I said, you know, people really enjoy the content you put out. And obviously, I've been pals with y'all for a while, and I always enjoy the conversation. So, thanks for letting us talk about it. And again, you know, Jamie wanted to give to the angler inside a tournament structure, and this is the best way we felt we could do it. So if you're traveling, you know, even though it's only a week, you know, you're fishing Chickamauga, you're fishing Gunnersville, you're fishing the Coosa chain with those big spots, you know, so, you know, and then when you fish the TOC shootout or, you know, the Tennessee State Championship, you're all fishing the big smallmouth waters in Knoxville, and they've got some largemouth too. You know, Ryan and Terry Golden went pre-fishing, and, you know, it was a lot of water, but Ryan ended up 94 and a half inches in a day, you know. And that was trying to figure fish out, caught 94 and a half inches. So, wow. You know, all the waters north of Chick have been, there's a lot of money been sucked into fishing up in that area to make those lakes good. So the people who built Lake Chickamauga are working on Watts Bar and things like that. There's a lot of things going to be coming to Watts Bar in the future. I can guarantee that. I mean, that fishery is growing. It's still really tough to fish like Center Hill would be. But, you know, Center Hill can produce some very nice smallmouth and everything else. So, you know, Watts Bar can do the same. But, you know, you're traveling and you're fishing all these quality waters, you know, throw $25 in the hat. I guarantee you know it could return huge dividends, and you may get lucky and end up in that championship and get to come down here and take a kayak home with you. You'd love that. So
That's right.
Everybody wants a free Hobie. Why not?
yeah, everybody would love free Hobie. It'd be great. It'd be great. So yeah.
Well,
But hey, real quick, I'd like to give one more shout out, if y'all don't mind, to Hog Farmer Bait Company, Hennessy Outdoor Electronics, and Driftwood Custom Baits. They stepped in and helped us with our fees for our state championship. And then over here, we've got our Tennessee Bass Nation, and then Yak Addicts, Ryan and Shane Williams Company, and Fish Monkey. Fish Monkey's eager to stop it, woman. Yeah. Fish Monkey is eager to get into the kayak industry. Reach out to them if you guys have got any questions. You know, they make a good product.
They make a great product, and I watched Freddie's wife hustle them people at the Classic.
Really?
Oh, man. She was just grabbing everybody with their shirt on. But, like, I need to talk to you about kayak fishing and high school fishing. It was hilarious.
Awesome.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. So I think they make the best buff. It doesn't squeeze you right here.
Yeah.
I think that buff is phenomenal. It's like the I'm just telling you, man, and this is not a shameless plug. These Gemini jerseys feel like silk. I mean, they're so breathable. That's the way the Fish Monkey stuff is. It makes me think of them. So I was excited to get these in.
I like the color on the jersey. You see most people with either the down or the t-shirt kind. You got the collar, like looking professional.
Well, that's what we do. So
that's right. I was
but no, seriously, I thought about putting something on it, but I was like, you know, we're going to do a club order for these, and I'm going to work hopefully get Gemini to let our kayak clubs with a certain number that we can produce to hopefully get set up like the high schools do, where they get like 50% off jersey orders. So that's what I want to try to do most of next season as I'm building Bass Nation sponsorship, is try to get it where if we can produce results for, you know, X amount of tournaments with 40 plus anglers in it, let us start getting these discount codes to use like high school teams can do, because you know we have the numbers that high school teams do. So you know, I don't think that's happening right now. So hopefully maybe we can get that started. So
heck yeah, man.
So,
well, as always, man, we appreciate you being on, and with all the hats that you wear, I'm sure we'll have you on for too long.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. I really do. And sorry Jamie couldn't make it. You know, traveling in, they're exhausted. So yeah, we'll circle back around.
He was just going to be the face, man. I knew you'd have all the info.
Yeah. So yeah, but you guys have got to have Jamie on here and listen to him. It's just he's an infectious personality that just the amount of knowledge in that brain of his is just, it's interesting to tap into and listen to. And what you mentioned about Frank, you know, he's done other things, and you just I can't stress enough how blessed I am to have gotten to meet these people and start working with them. So you know, he does a lot for everyone that comes through the store, you know, whether it be helping you change tires to everything else. And that whole staff down there are just excited to see you every time you come in. They're blown away by the kayakers. They just are. He's got some old timers that work in there that have fished all the circuits you can think of, and they're hammers. And they're like, man, you guys are nuts. He said, y'all are absolutely crazy. He said,
and we are better than the boat industry, you know. Making it known,
so yeah, but there's quite a few in that area. Isaac Payne, our Shimano rep, he sold his Ranger. He's in his 360. He posted some monsters the other day. You know, they're hooked. You know, it's spreading. You know, and we're all doing it the right way. It's not you know chumping. You know, we all cut up, but you know, people are coming to us organically, and that's how things work. You know, we've been asked time and time again how, you know, Ryan and I have the club that we have, and there's literally no answer. It's all organic. It's the anglers coming down through here. Terry and Brad Golden. Terry hurt his back, so they started fishing with us. Now they're two of the most influential people we've got, you know. So God's blessed us all with a lot. And we want to give everything back that we can. So thank you guys for having me on. I'll sit here and talk all night, so I'll let you guys talk.
All right, Steve, we'll holler at you for long.
Thanks, man. Thank y'all. See you.
All right, bye. All right, as always, the Steve Owens. Always great on the show.
We're going to have to start counting when he comes on and see how many different things he's representing when he comes on.
It's Bass, Dugout, TVKA, and he's a hammer. Like he just got
Steve,
in Alabama.
It's funny that he says the pre-fishing hammer, though, because every time I talk to him pre-fishing before a tournament, he really is, you know, he is whacking them. And then we'll come in during the day and he'll be telling me about, I lost this right next to the boat. I lost that right next to the boat. Well, I feel he's got one coming. I mean, and he's had good finishes. Not to count him down.
Yeah, I mean,
Steve do a big event win
at Hobie. He got in for a tournament of champions last year. So I mean, it's not like he's slacking out there.
Not at all.
All right, so let's go over these tournaments. And there wasn't a whole lot this week. I guess just Labor Day weekend. People kind of take it easy with the family. First, you had the Southeast Texas Kayak Bass League on their classic on Houston Lake, had 38 anglers. And Stephen Fisher got first with 90 1/4, Desmond James, 90 inches, and Brandon Millay, Millay. I think that's right. We'll go with that. 89 1/4. If I pronounce his wrong, just, yell at my boss, Brian Schiller, and he'll kick me off the show. So, Moyak, they had their event on Bull Shoals, 58 anglers. First place, Adam Isaacs, 87 3/4. Richie McMichael with 87 1/4. Zachary Reynolds with 85 3/4. And then you had the KBF Central Region Super Trail on Lake Ouachita, 23 anglers, not many. Ryan Hendricks, 76 1/2. Roy Grubb with 73 1/2, and Jack Wagner with 73. I guess kept some people off because the fishing was so bad. And then you had Indiana Kayak Anglers, their 2020 championship on Palestine Lake, 17 anglers. And because it's a classic, or the championship we did for lower people. Drew Duncan with 79 3/4. Brian Duncan, I guess family members, maybe they were in the same boat. Who knows? 79 1/4. Maybe they had a tandem Hobie. I don't know. That's just what I imagine in my head. Nick Matthews, third with 78 3/4. So there you go. That's all the events. Not many. I fished a little one, sucked it up. So it happens. My gear started off awesome and then crap.
No, it's been pretty suck for me all year, which I really haven't. I haven't put in the effort. I put in a lot of effort last year. Saw what I had, a lot of almosts and what ifs, and one more fish, and I'd have had this. Tried to turn that into this year. Had all this planning and everything done, and I've just I haven't, not pre-fishing events. Haven't fished half the events. It's been. I'm just going to shoot again for it next year.
Yeah. In my local, I went from, before the last two events, I went from first in AOY to fifth at the end. So I ended up in fifth because the last two events I just.
So yesterday was the last one?
Last one. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's it.
You just show out at the state championship.
Yeah. I'm in state, so I'm happy. It'll be fun. So, but last few events at the end of the year, fall bites coming on. Maybe I got good.
That's why I've got a list of the events I'm wanting to hit, and with me changing up my whole work situation, hopefully I can make that happen. Because I did a lot better in the fall last year than I did the spring or the summer, so I'm hoping to try and change that around for the better this year. Again, I didn't do too good during the earlier part of this year.
See, I'm usually the opposite. Like spring is usually tougher for me in the summer because I'm more of a grinder. Like tough events is usually where I excel, and that it was opposite this year. I don't know.
Yeah, usually summer, like late summer is usually when I do really good.
Yeah, me too.
That's always how I fished. This year, the best I've done this year is when I figured out bed fishing for the first time, because that's never been a thing I really cared about. I did that a few times and made my spring numbers look really good. And then the few times I've been out this summer, you can find a couple fish, but it's just been a grind for where I'm fishing.
Yeah. Here too.
Well, hopefully that fall bite, usually what I do to give me confidence in the fall is when we get a really good cool, I think it's supposed to get down into the 50s, a really good cold snap coming this coming a week. I'm probably going to take a trip to Gunnersville, because that's usually where I gain my fall confidence. Get out there throwing a spook, throwing a fluke, jerk bait, stuff like that.
Lipless in the fall. That's my job. I think I don't mean to hold up show here, but I think lipless have even gotten better because people quit throwing them. Like now, jackhammers on it, but lipless is, it's a killer in the fall.
You know, like we mentioned, we're going up to Kentucky Lake this weekend. I was just checking fishing reports and stuff like that, and it would threw me off seeing one of the guides talking about he's been throwing the lipless as the temperatures have been dropping, and that's not when that's a bait I think about. I like throwing it like on Gunnersville going into the spring, summer, kind of deal. But yeah, whole lot of stuff to think about. A whole lot of tournaments coming up. The year, it's kind of crazy that the year just seems to be kind of ramping up as it's ending.
It is. Because of COVID, the whole season's kind of back end loaded. So yeah, it'll
be. I can't wait to see how numbers are with tournaments being so late. But like Steve was saying about Chick in November, that's probably going to be a huge tournament as far as numbers.
Yeah, like Joshua Dark Waters. I mean, I'm hearing people from all over. There's no max on a bass event, but I think it's going to be Koza. I think Koza for Hobie will be the biggest Hobie of the year, and then bass might in November, because there's nothing else going on. It might be the biggest event of the year.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping I can make that one. I've never even seen Chick, but I lie. I saw Chick.
I seen him by the road driving by.
Yeah, that was all I saw.
The Gatlinburg,
I don't need, we're joking around with Steve. I don't ever want to get like right on anybody's spot. I just need somebody to familiarize me with that air, like some area of that lake. Cause like when I look at it on like Navionics or Google Maps, I'm like, oh my God, there's a lot to figure out.
So, all right. Well, we appreciate everybody for listening. As always, thank you to Steve and the Dugout. Seems like they're putting on a great event, and
I'm sure we'll get Jamie on. When the tournament season starts to end and we start expanding the show a little bit to other stuff, I'm sure we'll get a hold of Jamie and Steve again and get them on here.
Yeah, I kind of like the winter. The winter's fun because you get to talk about different tournament directors and trails and shops. And
I love talking tournament fishing, but I do get jealous of some of our other segments our guys do, and they're getting to branch out to brands and shops and stuff like that. But we get to jump in on that come winter.
Yeah, that's right. And Casey, I'm local and it's hard. Well, hopefully it ain't too hard whenever we show up, boss.
That's right.
But, yeah, thank y'all. Thanks for listening. As always, wear your PFDs. Be safe out there.
See you.